As a medical practitioner, I work with my patients to give them the best life possible through health and wellness. Understanding an individual's patient's needs is crucial to successful treatment. For Season 3 thus far, we have discussed serious medical issues with experienced professionals who have diagnosed and treated patients. However, have we taken into account the experiences of those who have received a devastating diagnosis but persevered, fought, and are survivors today? I welcome Ms. Sally Babulal, a brave woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. She will share with us her experience of a life-changing journey, from the moment she was informed she had breast cancer, the psychological effects of her battle, support systems and treatments, to the moment she learned that she was a survivor. Welcome to a special edition of What's Up, Doc.
Today's Vitaminute highlights vitamin D. Vitamin D is often referred to as the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D is both a nutrient that we eat and a hormone that our bodies make. This helps our body absorb and retain calcium and phosphorus, which are both critical for building bone. Studies show that vitamin D can reduce cancer cell growth, help control infections, and reduce inflammation. We can best get our dose of vitamin D from the flesh of fatty fish and fish liver oils. Smaller amounts are found in egg yolks, cheese, and beef liver. Many foods and supplements are fortified with vitamin D, like cereals, dairy products, and orange juice. And that was today's Vitaminute.
Can you tell us, the viewers, from the time you were, the lead up to the time you were diagnosed with breast cancer, what was that? What were the emotions that you experienced at that time when you were given that diagnosis of the big C?
No one is prepared for those words. No one. I knew something was wrong with my body. I felt something was wrong. And my sister took me to the regular doctor. And initially he said, oh no, nothing, it was perhaps an exercise injury. So I left it. 2 weeks later, the pain continued. I went back. They did more detailed testing. It was breast cancer. Funny enough.
How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I am 1 year shy of 50 now, so 48. This is my second year.
Right.
When I was diagnosed fully, funny enough, my sister exited the room. And I couldn't understand why. She obviously knew the seriousness of this diagnosis. Mm-hmm. In my mind, I just wanted to know, how do we deal with it? I was very, very matter of fact, which surprised me.
Right.
And not my surgeon, the doctor explained what was to be done, what my choices were. Initially, they suggested a mastectomy. I was ready to go and say, just get it out of me.
Okay.
With further visits to different doctors, I was told I did not need a mastectomy because of the size of it. A lumpectomy was what was required. Mm-hmm. And I was ever so grateful. That was the beginning.
Was it not confusing to, as a patient who's just been given a life-altering diagnosis like that, to get different opinions, strikingly different opinions on how to manage this particular problem? You've been given an option of radical surgery, mastectomy, and yet there's another option of a lumpectomy, which is just the removal of the lump.
Yes.
With the breast intact. How did you deal with that confusion?
You know, like I said, no one comes into this with a handbook. No one. It's only after, or having been faced with those two alternatives, I realized if you're fortunate enough to get honest advice, sage advice, you are blessed.
Now let me ask you, Sally, you told me that you had been part of a pilot program.
Yes.
A survivorship program, first tested out in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, for cancer survivors.
Yes.
Small group. Can you tell us, one, how you were chosen for this pilot project? And two, what is the initiative about? How did that help you on your journey from diagnosis to sitting here and sharing your story, surviving?
Funny enough, I do not know the criteria that was used to choose these patients. Ironically, I was initially not chosen to be a participant, but to be an educator. So a speaker.
Okay.
On image. So a month before, I had tossed in my resume to be the image spokesperson for this survivorship program. When it came around and they asked me to be part of this program, the person whose project this is, when she came to meet me, she said, "I know you." I had no idea who this person was. And I said, "Okay." She said, "Yes, your resume was on my desk. You were supposed to be the image trainer." Then I put two and two together.
Right.
So long story short, that is how I got introduced to this program.
What did the program teach you?
A hell of a lot. I mean, it's a tripartite program. Right? Psychosocial, so psychological and social issues. I can go into that afterwards. Nutrition and exercise, or yoga is the exercise of choice. It was a three-pronged program dealing with life after cancer.
Right.
I'm assuming that they chose those three areas because they are of huge relevance in a cancer survivor, because afterwards, after the big C, your life is very changed, very different. You have to eat differently, move differently, and above all, think differently.
Tell me about that.
The thinking
Think differently, yes.
There is still a huge taboo in speaking or voicing that you have cancer. This was agreed upon by the entire group in the penultimate class. They never called it cancer, the big C.
Agreed. There is a stigma associated with cancer, and I think more patients should feel at ease to share their story, because that's the only way we will learn.
That's right.
And we will understand, because whether you have cancer, you have a friend or family member who has cancer, you need to know, and by knowledge, you'll be able to help that person.
That's right.
Even better. Yeah.
Opening dialogue is so
Communication.
important. Exactly. So,
Your forte.
yeah, well, my field. I wouldn't say my forte anymore, but my field certainly.
I want to touch on the issue of mindset.
Yes.
To me, I think where I sit as a doctor, as a human being, who've gone through so many obstacles in my life, it is important to have the right mindset to overcome any and all obstacles. Your obstacle in your life, one of your obstacles, was cancer.
Yes.
I want you to share and go through those steps of changing from that mindset of disbelief and anger and rage and grief and hopelessness and confusion, and how you switch gears and you changed your way of thinking which would have led to a certain different emotion in you, which led to different actions, which led to you being here, surviving or thriving.
Thriving, thank
Yes.
you. Such a wonderful word, thriving. For me, I have always been someone who believed in knowledge. Knowledge has always been the key for me. I am an academic through and through.
Right.
With the correct knowledge and the correct mindset, both go hand in hand. With the correct knowledge and the correct mindset, that gives you or makes you do the correct action.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't get it right here first, meaning to say, let me give this program a chance. I didn't know what to expect, but let me see. I did, so it started here. That's the mindset. The information came with the program itself, not realizing how much I could have done, or could do rather, now.
Yeah.
Not in hindsight, but now. So they gave me the tools to be an agent of my own change.
Great. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as patients, so many of us feel helpless and hopeless. But the only way forward is to take that first step.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this program provides, the information to take the first step.
Yeah.
But still, while we have the information, you still have to do it. You, the individual, still has to do it. And the only way to do it is to do it. And that's where the third part comes in. The action, the motion, the choices that you make.
I read your story and you mentioned setting your goals and also acknowledging your fears and working towards it, even though you're fearful and you're seeing your fears, and you spoke a lot about looking at your fears and squarely in the face. Yes. And all of that, as well as the goals, and those are the two aspects that pulled you through this experience.
That's right.
Goals and fears.
Goals
Tell
and
us
fears.
about that.
You know, so many people want to hide the fear or discredit it, but it is there for a reason. It is there for a reason. In my case, it propelled me. You know, you look it square in the face and say, it is what it is. And when you confront it, it becomes less scary. Let me paint a very brief picture for you. It's a stormy night and you're hearing a scary sound outside. You have no idea what it is. The lights are gone. You don't know. Your fear builds because you cannot identify it. The storm passes, the light of the next day, and you realize it's a tree branch scraping the window pane. Nothing to be afraid of, but only in the light of day can you see that, right? Same thing with cancer. When you get diagnosed, more often than not, you have no experience, none, with this disease. Yeah. You are bombarded by fear, or with fear, miscommunication, confusion, turmoil. The only way through that is through education and learning proper tools to get you through, not out, through this particular point.
Well put, Sally. I can say it better myself.
Thank you.
Education.
Education.
Education, being aware, empowering yourself,
That's
learning
right.
more about it,
Yes.
learning more about your body.
Yes.
Sally, from my perspective, I think you are a strong, brave, courageous, unapologetic woman. You've done tremendous to bring yourself to this point. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and I truly hope that this survivorship program gets off the ground and more people benefit from it.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. Thank you for having me.
Did you know that polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is one of the most common issues faced by women of reproductive age in Trinidad and Tobago?
So we see more patients with polycystic if they're obese, but there are the small-billed patients who also have polycystic ovaries.
What other treatment options are there available for these girls?